The Goosebumps TV series from the 90s is one of my favorite shows of all time, so I've decided that I'm going to start covering episodes here on my channel. Today, let's kick off the series with a creepy episode that is very well done, Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes. After the legendary intro plays, we start off with two kids playing catch. While throwing the ball back and forth, we get a quick blink and you'll miss it look at Major McCall walking in the background. Joe tells his sister to throw the ball right, so she throws it way over his head into the next yard. Joe tells Mindy to get the ball back, and she says that she's not going in there. Joe, sick of losing all of his stuff in this yard, makes a break for it. He sneaks in the yard, and after he spots the baseball in a rose bush, goes to grab the ball when another hand snatches it first. Here, we are introduced to Major McCall, holding the baseball and looking at the kids with disgust. He says, "Now it's mine. Stay out of my garden." The scene quickly switches from dark to light when a truck pulls into the garage. We get our first glimpse at the kid's happy-go-lucky dad. Joe tells his dad that the maniac took his baseball. Dad says, well, was it in his yard? Then backs off of the situation. He is dying to show the kids what he found today. He unwraps the two lawn ornaments in the back of his truck, and Joe steps up and turns around the lawn gnome. The heavy statue falls on top of Joe, and he freaks out. The garage door closes at the same time, and that definitely makes this scene more dramatic. His dad and sister tell him to stop horsing around and get the lawn gnome off him. This scene is actually really cool. It gives us the first sneak peek into how the gnomes act when there isn't any lights on. The dad goes on about how these gnomes are going to help him win the summer garden contest. Meanwhile, Mindy thinks they are cute, and Joe thinks they look evil. The three are setting up the lawn gnomes in the garden when Major McCall chimes in to give his 2 cents. He takes a shot at the dad, saying, "You didn't tell me your relatives were coming to visit." He walks into the yard running his mouth, saying he will surely win the garden contest now, and that these gnomes are a disgrace to the whole neighborhood. As he dings the yellow lawn gnome on its head, he continues talking to the kid's dad like he is his dad, saying, "When are you going to wise up and get rid of all this junk?" The kids start back talking, saying it's our garden, and little Joey gets a good jab in, saying not everyone wants their flowers to stand at attention. Major McCall starts talking up how nice his garden is, like it's his life's work and magnum opus, while fantasizing about receiving the garden award. Joe interrupts the daydream and takes one last shot at Major, saying we'll see about that. Major gets suspicious and says he hopes Joe doesn't plan on doing anything to his garden. I like how we get these random shots of wacky things inside the garden, like this dog statue. After this perfectly set up intro, we transition to nighttime. We watch through the gnome's point of view as they take melons from Major's garden and smash them against his house. Dad wakes up to Major McCall beating on the front door. He tells the dad that someone smashed his plants on his house, accusing Joe of doing it. Joe says maybe it was raccoons. Then Major pulls out a melon with his face drawn on it. Now, let's analyze this quick scene. The lawn gnomes smashed melons up against the house, also did a drawing of the Major on a melon. I believe they did this as a warning sign to stop being mean to the neighbors, aka the new owners of the lawn gnomes. Let's jump back into it. Major tells the dad it's going to take more than dirty tricks to win this contest, before slamming down the melon with his face drawn on it, smashing it on the porch. As Major walks away, we get this very quick shot showing that the lawn gnomes are watching the reaction to their mischief. The dad seems a little confused and tells Joe to stay out of Major McCall's way. Joe starts looking at the gnomes, wondering what happened. Minutes later, Major sees the kids playing in the yard with the gnomes and scolds them, saying he will be waiting next time Joe comes into his yard. Once Mindy walks away, Joe notices ink on the red lawn gnome's hand, the ink that was used to draw Major's face on the melon. He then pulls out a melon seed from the gnome's mouth. Once nighttime hits, we get our first sighting of the lawn gnomes coming to life. Joe seems to wake up out of his bed at the same time. He looks out the window to find the gnomes sitting in place like normal, but then he looks at the trees and sees 3 pairs of glowing red eyes. He sneaks out to investigate. Walking towards the trees, we see a pair of red eyes glowing. As Joe starts walking towards the eyes, we see a cat or raccoon take off running through the garden, followed by some gnome laughs. Moments later, we hear the animal being attacked or put to sleep. Joe is creeping around, getting closer to the laughing sounds. When the yellow lawn gnome spots him, the other gnome pops out as well. They start walking towards Joe, and he backs up into Major's yard. The motion lights turn on, and the alarm sounds. The camera pans around, and we can see that Major McCall's garden is destroyed. The gnomes freeze in place when the light hits them, and Joe is left standing there, caught red-handed. Major McCall walks outside and is distraught. My lilies, my azaleas, my eagle. Joe blames it on the gnomes, and of course Major doesn't buy this. He gets mad and pushes down the lawn gnomes, angrily questioning why they are in his yard. Joe's dad wakes up and comes over, asking what's going on. Joe gives him the gnomes did it excuse, but he shuts this down quickly. He tells Joe that he is to fix Major McCall's garden until it's perfect. He then sincerely apologizes to Major and goes to grab his gnomes. Let's pause real quick. Look, I know that he just woke up, and this is a lot to process in the first waking moments of your day, but the dad seems like a fairly smart guy, so he had to think, how did this little kid get 2 heavy lawn gnomes over here, and why? Anyways, let's continue the episode. We start the next day, bright and early, with the Major stomping in his war boots as he watches Joe restore his garden back to perfect. He marches around giving orders and has a beautifully drawn blueprint of his garden in hand, getting to say things like, "Move it, soldier, over to the Pentagon," and yelling, "On the double." I think Major McCall really enjoyed getting to play sergeant for a day. That night, Joe wakes up to his alarm he set for midnight. Now, he is on a mission to prove the lawn gnomes are alive. He records them through the window, but realizes he needs new tape to put in the camera. After this, he goes to wake up his dad, telling him the gnomes are missing. Dad is in a good sleep and isn't entertaining the whole gnomes thing. Since this doesn't work, he moves to option number 3, waking up his sister to show her firsthand. Mindy reluctantly gets up, and the two make their way to the backyard. They hear a weird voice and start to look around. Mindy is scared, saying, "Maybe we should go back." Out of nowhere, the red lawn gnome creeps up behind them. As the kids are running through the trees, we see 2 other lawn gnomes, one with an orange hat and one with a yellow hat that seems to be taller than the others. The gnomes chase Joe and Mindy around the garden until the red gnome trips Joe. The gnomes have the camcorder and are laughing as they have the kids surrounded. Mindy apologizes to Joe for not believing him. These gnomes look very creepy and evil, like they could just hurt you very bad and end up laughing about it like it's a game. They are talking amongst themselves about which way they want to hurt the kids. The yellow gnome wants to use a magic spell, and the red gnome wants to squash them. Mindy asks the gnomes why they are doing this. They answer, saying it's what gnomes do, make mischief anywhere, anytime, and to anyone. The gnomes start fighting each other and arguing. The flashlight falls to the ground and flashes on one of the gnomes, freezing them. Joe picks up on this and now knows their weakness. He secures the flashlight and the tables turn until moments later when the battery dies. The gnomes laugh and start to surround Joe and Mindy. In this scene, we can get a good look at the two extra lawn gnomes. The one with the orange hat is fairly similar to the yellow and red one, but this gnome with the yellow hat is beyond freaky. In this shot, we can see how tall he is, and that kind of freaks me out. Joe runs away full speed, but Mindy is really scared and ends up tripping. Now, the lawn gnomes have her right where they want her, right before the red and yellow lawn gnomes snatch her up. Major McCall's security lights save the day and freeze the gnomes where they stand. We see the other two gnomes run away and get out of the light rays just in time. Major McCall walks out and starts yelling at the kids. Major is pissed when he sees the lawn gnome in his yard again. He picks up the red gnome to take it to the trash, but makes a mistake, stepping out of the light. The lawn gnome comes back to life and takes down Major for his last ride. We skip to the next morning, where the garden contest judges are walking around, giving their final score. The dad thinks he won the contest and wants his prize. The judge explains that they were about to give him the grand prize, but then they saw something that was jarring, ugly, and out of place. Joe is confused and asks if he is talking about the lawn gnomes. Then the contest judge walks them to the very back of the garden and says, "That hideous lawn ornament," and points to something. The family walks back there and are shocked to see Major McCall has been turned into a lawn gnome. This was an absolute perfect way to end this story. Major credit to the props department for making this lawn gnome look just like Major McCall. It's incredible. Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes is a really well balanced episode. The conflict of the neighbor's kid messing with your garden when you already don't like him is believable and well done. The actors and actresses did a fantastic job, and the creepy element was definitely there. Also, we got a classic twist ending that I didn't expect when I first watched it. Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes is one of the few Goosebumps books where I'm not too crazy about the cover. So when it comes to this story, the episode is a lot more significant in my head than the book is. That is episode 1 of staying up late watching Goosebumps. Let me know in the comment section what you think of this episode. Also, which one I should cover next. Like, subscribe, and hit that hype button for more Goosebumps content. And until next time, Stay Up Late Productions.